What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are installing a new mod on the RS5. Now, I like cold air intakes, but a cold air intake on an RS5, at least from the ones I found so far, can be extremely expensive. So we're going to do the next best thing. We're going to install a couple of K&N drop-in filters into the stock airbox. There's not very many videos on YouTube about how to do this, so this video will serve as something as a guide. But to start off with, these are the parts you need. You need two of these filters, one for the left side, one for the right side, and I will put the part numbers in the description below. But if you can see them on the screen here, that works too. So let's get started.
So outside the box, you can see that these are sealed, they're oiled, pre-oiled, and they are a mirror of each other. One for the left, one for the right. Here is the glorious V8 engine inside this thing, and there's airbox number 1 and airbox number 2. And from what I've been able to research so far, there's just 4 of these screws, one in each corner. And then they also recommend to take this off too, so this entire piece just comes right off. The engine is still quite hot, so let's see how this goes. You want to be extremely careful not to lose any of these screws. All 4 screws are out and I didn't lose a single one. Next thing to do is just to loosen up this just a little bit so that this piece can slide right out. And this is actually quite alarmingly loose. Okay, so you can see the OEM air filter just in there, but this is a 2-hand job, so I'll be right back. Okay, the cover is off. It has some ridges just there that kind of slide in, connect with this piece right here, and we can see the OEM air filter right here. But the money shot will really be the other side of it. See how dirty it is. And again, I'm feeling like I need 2 hands when I only have one because I'm holding the camera. And the filter is out, and we can see essentially how this system works. Air comes in from the front, comes through there, goes up through the filter, and into that tube, into the throttle body. But take a look at how bad this filter was. It actually has a whole layer of gunk, like leaves and seeds and all this kind of, this is terrible. The rest of it is not so good either. I don't think this has ever been replaced. Just a quick shot comparing the 2 filters, K&N and the OEM. Okay, I got my trusty shop vac to vacuum out the gunk in the bottom of the airbox. Let's get a light in here. That's looking much better. And this is the new replacement filter that's going to sit just right in there. But again, this is a 2-handed job, and this thing is covered in oil, very greasy looking. We don't want to get grease all over the camera, so I'm going to be right back when this is actually in the slot. So I think I managed to do that pretty successfully, and I actually just used this kind of pry tool that I have to squish it in, because it's kind of rubbery, right? So just to squish it into the corners, make sure it's nice and flush, and that's what you want. You want it to be flush just on the edges here, and it's looking pretty good. But now, got to get the cover back on, and these ridges slot into here. Get our 4 screws back on, and we'll tighten this thing back up, and then that'll be one side done. The cover is back on, but I will let you guys know this part here was a little tricky to get this in. I actually had to kind of lift it from both sides and then slide this part in all at the same time. You kind of need 3 hands. You could do it with 2, but 3 would be better. But once you slot it in, then this thing should fall down nicely over the screw holes and sit very firm. And now you just gotta screw it back together. These screws were tight, but mostly just hand tight. This one was actually loose, but that's hand tight now. Next up is these screws, but because I want to be extremely careful with these, I'm gonna use both hands and put the camera down, and I'll be right back. Okay, everything's back in and nice and hand tight. A couple of tips along the way is, yeah, you got to be really careful not to lose the screws in some of the awkward positions, but I also almost lost my screwdriver bit as well, you know, coming out of these screws. So everything's tight, looking good. Now we're on to the next one. I'm not going to go through the whole process again. It is essentially just a mirror of this one, but I will show you the filter once it comes out. So I'll be right back with that. Second filter is in, but let me show you the state of this OEM filter. It's way worse than the other one. So here are both filters. This was the first one I took out, and this is the second one I just took out just a moment ago. And it is so much worse. There's way more dirt and gunk in this one. So the car was quick enough before with these terribly dirty filters. I'm quite excited to see what it's gonna be like now. Let's get this put back together and let's take it for a drive. And she is all back together. Let's go for a drive. So all in all, that installation was super easy. I just kind of wish I waited for the engine to be cooler, because it's 26 degrees Celsius outside and I was working on top of a warm engine. It takes it out of you a bit. But now let's take this car for a little drive, see how it feels. I think dynamic mode will be a necessity. So far, from a couple of red lights, the acceleration is definitely improved. The throttle response is improved. The power delivery is improved. It's very minor, but you can notice it for sure. So I live on the very north side of Calgary, just really right at the edge of the city. And so it's very easy for me to just leave the city limits, go out to some country roads, and there's a nice couple of corners up here and some nice 100 kilometers per hour roads. All right, I'm just gonna find a quick place to stop and do a little dig. I'm not gonna do launch control today. It's a little hard to do while filming, but we'll get a little pull going for sure. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Definitely breathes better. And yeah, overall acceleration definitely feels livelier. Throttle response feels livelier. A couple of really fun corners coming up right here. Oh, it's more fun if you can kind of take it quickly, but so that is the install for the K&N drop-in filters for a V8.5 Audi RS5. Relatively simple. You got my first impressions. Definitely going to keep them. Everything's pretty good so far. But let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below or anything else that you'd like to see. I will do a full launch control launch soon. I'm going to have to get some sort of camera mount for that. But yeah, let me know if you got any questions in the comments down below. And thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.